So LSA1 is known as a type 1 LSA, right? And it's advertised by the router, right? Each router advertise the router LSA, right? That contains the information about how many links are connected to me, right? Then we have LSA2. This is known as a type 2 LSA. That is each only DR can generate network LSA, right? So this is known as a router LSA. This is known as a network LSA. And this guy contains the only DR can generate network LSA, and this guy, this contain the information about how many routers are attached to me, or we can say how many routers are present in broadcast domain. This 2 LSA is only present within the area. It will never go beyond the area, right? Then you have a LSA3, known as the type 3 LSA and known as the summary LSA. It is generated by AVR. That contains the summary information about area. LSA4, known as a type 4 LSA, known as a ASBR summary LSA. That contains the it is generated by ABR. That contain ASBR. LSA5, type 5, known as a external LSA. It is generated by ASBR, right? And that contain the information about external route. Is it? We have a two types of external route, E1 and E2. By default, it will take the E2. We can change the E1 as well as, right? This is the things that we have seen that, and also we have seen that what is stub, right? So stub is something like that. It is going to reduce, or we can say remove LSA4 and LSA5 information, right? And instead of that, it will generate LSA3 information that contains the default route. Then we have a 2 tree stub. It is remove LSA4, LSA5, but reduce LSA3. Okay, so that was a totally stub, right? And you cannot enable the stub features in the transit network, like a transit area, right? Like area 0 and virtual link. In that case, you cannot enable the. So in this case, what happens? Just take example. This is the headquarter. That's area 0. You cannot enable the stub on this guy, right? And even you cannot enable the virtual link. Sorry, you cannot enable the stub on the virtual link. So what a minute, let me make a small size little bit because I have a already big one. Submit. Cancel. So guys, right now for what we have to do right now, let me take the console first of all, then we'll discuss. So you can do one thing, take a screenshot of the this diagram, because I cannot show you the diagram, right? You can take a screenshot of this guy. Same example, we have a branch office Delhi, we have a RIP, right, running over there, and these are two networks over there, right? So this route will be advertised by R1 to R2, right, in the area 0. So this guy will become the A square because I need to perform the redistribution, right? So what happened now, R2 will save this information to the area 1. So area 1 has a lots of information. To avoid the lots of information, what we can do over there, we can enable this stuff, right? Till this point we have discussed. And this stuff, what happened by default, E flag is equal to 1, and what E flag is going to represent at external route capability. It means that if E flag is equal to 1, the a router has the ability to maintain that external route, or we can say the LSA5 information. But once I'm going to make the stub, what happened after the making the stub, E flag will become the 0. It means that my router does not have a ability to install the LSA5 information. Is it? By making a area stub. And you cannot make a router as a stub, you are making area as a stub. You are making area as a stub. So let's see till this point. Let me see whatever the configuration we have right now. So R4 router, let me start from here. It should be a 3 IP address and the RIP enable. So IP protocol summary. So run section RIP. Okay, so we have advertised all this route, and let's go on R1 now, this router. So IP interface brief. Perfect, right? So so IP protocol summary. We have enabled with the OSPF and RIP as well as show run section router. So we can see that OSPF has its own information, is it? And RIP has its own information, but they don't have a redistribution. So right now R1 is behave like a normal router. R1 is behave like a normal router. There is no ASBF right now because no redistribution is happening. Is it? Let's go to R2 right now. Check the R2. Show IP interface brief. Show run section OSPF. Okay, yeah. Is everything is good, right? If you go to R3 now, so IP OSPF neighbor, we have a neighborship with this guy as well as. So R3 is also forming the neighborship with this person, right? Right now, forget this guy. Okay, nothing is there. Okay, so right now what happened? R3 is able to form the neighborship with this person, right? R3 is able to form the neighborship with the R2. So what happened if you check the R3 right now? Show IP OSPF database. I only have a LSA 1, 2, and 3 information. 1, 2, 3 information. I don't have the LSA 5 and LSA 4, of course, because no SVR is there, right? So let's go to R1 and perform the redistribution. How we can do that? Router OSPF 1 redistribute the RIP protocol. Is it? And router RIP redistribute OSPF 1 matrix will be 2. So what message is saying that only the classful network will be redistributed. So if you need to redistribute the class less, then you have to use the subnet keyword, right? This keyword. But right now, no need to use this one because I already have a class pulled out. And if you check now, do so IP protocol. So I'm nothing right now, nothing is teaching new, right? It's already we have discussed in the last classes. So it's a ASBR router. Once I'm making the redistribution over there. Now R1 will send the LSA5 information to the R3. Have a look. LSA 3, LSA 4, and that LSA 4 is just going to tell you how to reach the ASBR. So LSA 4 is advertised by whom? R2 router, and that contains the information about the 1.1.1, the ASBR. Advertising of the 2.2.2, that's the ABR, and contains the information of the 101, that's my ASBR. And these are two LSA 5 information, right? Is it? Now, okay, I'm not getting the 44.0 as well. Why? So 44 is not there. Should be there to show. Okay, 44 is a classless route. That's why it's not taking. What we have to do, we need to go in the router step one, redistribute rate, submit. Because it's a classless, we need to make the submit keyword over there. Now it will get the 44 as well as. Is it? So what I need to reduce my database table to what we have to do over there. I need to make this area as a stub, right? So let's go to R2 router, and I say that area one stub, and I need to configure the same kind on R3. Otherwise, what happened? Neighbor should be withdrawn, because R2 will send the OSPF flag one, sorry, E flag what, E flag 0, and R3 will send the E flag 1, right? So the mismatch of the flags, so it will break the neighborship down. So we need to configure all the router that is present in the area. So I need to configure the R3 as well as router OSPF 1. If you have a 50 routers in the area, you have to configure on the 50 routers. Area 1 stop. Done. Now you can say that do show IP OSPF database. I don't have the LSA5 information. Take us some time. Take some time. Still getting. Now perfect. Can you see that I don't have the LSA5 information in my database, even not LSA4, right? That's a behavior of the stub. And instead of that, I have a one default route that's as a LSA3 that is generated by whom? R2 router, right? If you go to R2 and have a look of this thing, do show IP OSPF. Can you see that this area one is a part of which area? Stub area. And in this stub area, what we are doing right now, we are generating a default route with the cost 1, right? As I told you that you can change the cost as well as, okay? So in a R3 router, what happened? We have one default route, and based on this default route, the router will forward the packet to any network 4.4.4.4 and 44.44.4. Is it? Based on this default route. So in the stub, what happened by default? It's a behavior, right? This is the by default behavior. Right now, let's take example. I have introduced the, right now we have a stub area, right? And what is my goal in the stub area? My goal is to reduce the size of the database table. This is my goal. Is it? Now, what is the problem is happening with the stub area? Try to understand what is the problem is happening. This area is my stub area right now. This area one is my stub area right now. And what is the problem with this stub area? Sorry. Okay. गायब ही हो गए यार बस आ जाओ जादू चालाकी यार इसको हटाइए दो डिलीट हो नहीं नहीं कैसे हटेगा ये क्या ही कर दिया मैंने यार चालाकी हटा दिया मैंने so right now what happened, this area is a stub area, right? What is the problem in the stub area? Try to understand this. After some time what happened, this was my branch office in the Delhi, this was my headquarter in the Patna location, right? And this is the branch office in the Kerala location. After some time what happened, we have opened the another branch that is present in the Goa location, and this guy is running with the protocol that is known as a EHGRP. This person, right? This LAN network. Try to understand after some time what happened, we have introduced the another router, another branch office in the Goa location, and that guy is running with the EHGRP protocol that has some subnet over there. So what happened right now, this link is going to run with the EHGRP. So R6 will share this information to the R3, right? Via EHGRP update packet. And R3 will have this information. If you have a look over there, if you're gonna R3 do so IP root EHG or do so IP root. Okay, it's not getting. So what we can do, R6 is that maybe the R6 does not have a configure with this thing. .35.5. Router EHRP number 1, netbook 0.0.0. Done. And just go on R3 now. Router EHRP number 1, network 35.0. Is that right? R3 has received the information. Clear? R3 has received this information. Now what on R3 what happened? Have a look over there. We have all information in the R3. Now do one thing, do show IP root EHGRP. I got all information, right? Is it? Now what R3 is going to do, try to understand this thing. It's a very, very important and it's a little bit logical. If you have a question, you can interrupt me at the same time, because this is the part that you have to understand over there. Tell me one thing, This R3 is a route having the 6.0.0, right? This route. Will R3 will share this information by default to the OSPF? Will R3 will share this information to the OSPF by default? Not. We need to perform the redistribution over there, right? So what we have to do over there, I need to go in the OSPF and I say the redistribute EHJP route. What happened? First of all, he is giving the error message only classful network will be redistributed. That's good. Not denying it. At the same time, what happened? At the same time, what happened? He's giving the message ASBR router is not allowed because if I'm going to perform the redistribution, what happened? This router will become the ASBR, right? ASBR router is not allowed in which area? Stub area. Right now, what is the behavior of the stub area? The behavior of the stub area is going to deny the LSA 5 and 4 information to inject into the stub area, right? And once I'm going to perform the ASBR, this guy, this is the route 5.0.0.0 and 55.0.0. This route will be advertised as what? LSA 5, right? So will I allow this guy? Of course not, because this is my stub area, and a stub area never allow any information that has a LSA 4 and 5, and even it is not allow any router to become like a ASBR in the area 3. Do so IP protocol. What is saying that this is the autonomous system boundary router. This router has become the ASBR, but the problem is that on a R2 routing table, if you check on a R2, do we have a 5.0 information? No. R3 has become the ASBR router, but he is not injecting this route because of this guy, stub area, and stub area never allowed. Doesn't matter which direction they are coming. Is it coming from a left direction or right direction? I'm not going to allow it. So in that case, what happened? Whatever the user that are sitting in the Delhi location, whatever the user that are sitting in the Patna location, and whatever the user that are sitting in the Kerala location, they cannot communicate with this person. No communication will happen. Guys, tell me, is it stub area is good in this situation according to the design perspective of this guy?
No, sir.
So to avoid this problem, what we have introduced over there, we have introduced the another area that is known as a NSSA area. NSSA stand for not so stubby area. This is a special type of area right? That behave like a 50% stub and 50% normal area. So try to understand what we are saying over there. You are, if I'm going to say that area 1 as a NSSA area, if I'm going to say area 1 as an NSSA area, you are not completely stub or not completely normal. It means that still, I say that 50% stub, it means that still you have a capability, still you have a capability to achieve the same goal. That is configured over there, right? To reduce the LSA 4 and LSA 5 information. Not reduce, remove. In the NSA area, what happened? Still you are getting the same features. In the NSA area, what happened? Still you are getting the same features. At the same time, what happened? He's seeing the 50% normal area. Now, what happened? Now you can perform redistribution. Now we have solved two issues, right? By making a one area as a special area. Both the issue has resolved. The issue was I'm not able to inject this route. Now I'm able to inject it. At the same time, I'm getting the same features that I stopped. The R2 will never allow LSA 4 and 5 information into this area that I'm getting. And now this route will be injected into this area. Both we are getting after making this area as a NSS area. NSSA area, by default, this thing is disabled. If you have a look in the hello packet, by default, the NSSA is disabled. आज तो तुम्हारा वस्तु खत्म कर दूंगा पूरा, कोई नहीं भागेगा 8-9 बजे से पहले. So by default, what happened? NSS is disabled, right? So what we have to do over there? I need to configure this guy as an NSS area, right? So let me do one thing. To configure the NSS area, what is the prerequisite? To configure the NSS area, the prerequisite is to remove the stub area. This is the prerequisite. So what we have to do on R3 and R2 router? I said no. R3. Done. Now what I can say that this guy area 1 as an NS area. R2. Now if you check the hello packet, NSSA is supported. समझ में आया खेला? So again you have to configure all the router that is present in the area 1. Otherwise what happened? Mismatch of the hello and the neighborship will be dropped. So sometimes what happened? The people are not able to see that sir and NSSA is NSSA flag is not a part of neighborship. It's a part of neighborship. Let me show you what I can do right now on R3. Let me remove this person and you can see that the neighborship will be dropped. Full state to down state. It means that this guy is sending the NSSA flag 1 and this guy is sending the NSSA flag 0. How we can form the neighborship? Not possible. So you have to configure on every router, right? Then what is my goal? The first goal, it should remove the LSA 4 and 5. You can check that it is able to removing. You can just go on R3 show IPSO database. Do we have information on the LSA 4 and 5 from this side? No, no LSA 4. Sorry, 1 minute. LSA 5. So R2, this is the area, NSA area. In this NSA area, what happened? LSA 4 and 5 is not allowed. But if you check on the R2 router, R2 will have in the area 0 database table. In the area 0 database table, right? Right? Is there, but it's not there in the area 1 because that's by our requirement. And SSA behave like a behave like a 50% stuff, 50% not sub stubby, normal area. So still they behave like a stub, right? Now the second features, we need to implement the ASBR route, right? We need to inject this route into the 5.0 and 55.0 into the area 1, right? Let's inject it. Chalo usme 3 pe. And now tell this guy, dude, do one thing. Previously it was prompting the error, right? If you see the previous error, this error was coming, right? After putting this command. Now, is there any error is coming except this one? No, because now this router will behave like a stub and now R3 will advertise this information to the R2. Sorry, not do show. बन गया SBR. Now maybe you have a question. वैसे होना नहीं चाहिए, होगा. Now maybe you have a question. How does R3 will share this information to the area 1? Because law, as you told that from this side, it will generate the LSA 4 information and LSA 5 information as external route, right? But from this side, it is also going to generate the same thing. But NSSA is not allowing from this side. How can I allow from this side? If the NSSA is not allowing from this side, how can I allow from this side? So guys, what happened in this case? What happened is this is my NSSA area and it's a special type of area. What R3 is going to do over there, once R3 is going to perform the redistribution, R3 is going to generate a special type of LSA, and that type of LSA is known as a LSA7. It is generated by NSSA area only, and it is the properties of NSSA area. Means this LSA will never go beyond the NSSA area. In the normal area, you will never see LSA 7. समझे घटना क्या हो रहा है?
Excuse me, sir.
हाँ पूछना भाई.
Sir, what and all routes are present in RIP protocol? RIP side, sir. When you configure NSSA, R2 will not send this 4.00 information to R3, sir.
Never. Why? How can still behave like a strawberry, right?
Strawberry. But R3 can communicate, no, sir, if it was stub.
Yeah. They can communicate.
Okay. But in NSSA, they can't communicate, sir.
क्यों? अभी मैंने बताया वो चीज. रुक जा मैं पढ़ाता हूँ अभी. कंप्लीट करने दे फिर. So in this case, what happened? R3 is a ASPR router. What R3 is going to do? It will generate a new LSA in the NSA area, that is LSA 7. So this route will be appear in the NSA area, in this area, right, as LSA 7. देखें? चलो. Go na R2 router. Check करो. Do show IP OSPF database. आ गया. 35.0, 5.0 and 55.0 as a type 7 LSA. And who is generating this guy? 3.3.3.3.3.3. This is the ASBR order. देखा था? This is the type 7 LSA. So we have solved the issues. Both the issue has resolved by making an area as an NSA area. Stub is also not allowing, and NSA this is also not allowing over there. If you check the routing table as well as कैसा route आ गया? N2. N means what? NSSA type 2, or it can be NSSA type 1 as well as. Same like a E2, E1, and 2, N1. यहां तक किसी को डाउट है तो तुम पूछ सकते हो टिल दिस पॉइंट, क्योंकि आगे वाला टॉपिक थोड़ा सा और हार्ड होने वाला है. नेक्स्ट पॉइंट. इफ यू हैव एनी क्वेश्चंस टिल नाउ यू कैन आस्क. बताओ.
Clear, sir.
Clear?
Yes, sir.
चलो, अब बात यहां आती है. Now the point is that R3 is also not received the LSA 5 information and 4 information from this side. That is actually I want. Is blocking, R2 is blocking, and R3 is advertising this route 5.0 and 55.0 as a LSS7. That is also I want. Both I am getting in this case. So R3 does not have a LSA 4 and 5, but they have a LSA 7. That is this guy. And this route will be appear as a N2 type 2, right, by default. And the matrix will be 20 appear. How this LSA will be present into the area 0 now? LSS 7 is present into the area 1 right now. LSS 7 is not understood by LSS 7 is not understood by normal area. Problem फिर से आ गया. LSS 7 is not understood by normal area. Normal area does not know LSS 7 because LSS 7 is the properties of NS area. It is only travel within the NS area. So this is only travel look like this. खत्म, यहीं तक ट्रैवल करेगा, उससे ज्यादा नहीं जाएगा. प्रॉब्लम है भाई. So what we can do over there, guys, try to understand. This is the R2, something like that. What I can do right now, let me have a one example. यार एक बात बताओ, दिस इज द एक बंदा है ABC और इस बंदे को इंग्लिश नहीं आती, दे ओनली नो द हिंदी. क्या हो गया? दे ओनली नो द हिंदी. अब इसकी एक बंदी है, ठीक है, हिज गर्लफ्रेंड इज देयर, XYZ, they know the English. So can they communicate it to each other? Of course not. So यहाँ पे किसको बुलाना पड़ेगा? अनूप को. अनूप is a guy that know the Hindi and English. So ये बंदा इसको लगा हाय, and now इसको ये translate कर देगा. Is it? So this is the guy that's behave like a translator. Is it? ABC does not know the English or XYZ does not know the Hindi. So we need to bring a one guy that behave like a translator. तो ऐसे समझ लो, this is the normal area, normal guy, the normal area, and this is the smart girl, NSC, and the Anup is a AVR right now. Between the connectivity between the ABC and XYZ, right? AVR is part of the connectivity between the ABC and XYZ, right? So Anup is the AVR between the ABC and XYZ. So what Anup is going to do, Anup is behave like a translator. So I can translate this word to this guy, and I can translate from this word to this guy. Same thing is happening. In this case also what happened, this LSS7 is present in the area 1. So how we can share this information to area 0? So what R2 is going to do, R2 is behave like a translator. ABR is a router, this behave like a translator. And this router will convert this LSS7 information into the LSA5 as a 5.0 and 55.0 route. So in the area 0, this route will be appear as a E2, external route, or LSS5. But in the NS area, it will appear like a N2. as a LSS7, because the problem normal area does not understand the NLCS. So if you